That groundhog said 6 more weeks of cold. I still don't like the cold, but the Super Bowl is this weekend, and I like the Super Bowl. Go Birds. I'm Riley Kapchuk.
And I'm Gwen Good. It may only be Thursday, but I don't know about you, I'm already counting down to Sunday. I still can't quite wrap my head around the game, but that won't stop me from cheering loudly and singing my heart out during the halftime Super Bowl show. You're watching the Home Field Explorers Athletics SportsLine. Oh, I was trying to get go.
Welcome to SportsLine. Winter sports are finishing up, which means spring sports are underway.
And later, Riley sat down with Ashleigh Connor from the women's basketball team to talk about their season.
But first, let's take a look at our SportsLine top 3.
Number 1, this weekend, 18 people were inducted into the LaSalle Hall of Athletics for the year 2025. Vice President of Athletics and Recreational and Director of Athletics, Ashwin Puri, commented, "We will forever remember our men's basketball team run in the 2013 Sweet 16 and what it meant to our campus community." Additionally, Mary Preslin, Craig Cummings, and Joe Stampone are deserving recipients of their honour, and we're thrilled to highlight their accomplishments during our Hall of Athletics ceremony.
Number 2, Deuce Jones wins A10 Rookie of the Week for the 5th week in a row.
Number 3, our NovaCare Student Athlete of the Week is from LaSalle Women's Water Polo Team, Francesca Coe. She broke the program record for the most amount of career goals and scored 7 in just 3 games.
That's it for our SportsLine top 3. Now let's see how our teams did in this week's recap. This weekend, the water polo team took on 3 ranked opponents this weekend at the Bruno Classic hosted by Brown University. Starting with Indiana University, the Explorers started off strong, having 2 early goals from the duo Martina Bonet-Saez and Sarah Corrante tally, tying things up at 2. Indiana responded with back-to-back scores to take a 4-2 lead. Tatum Lomax opened the second quarter with a goal to cut the deficit to 1. Despite a Sofia Kolavu goal, the Hoosiers controlled the frame, scoring 3 of the final 4 goals to carry a 7-4 advantage into halftime. LaSalle fought back in the third quarter, trimming the gap to 1 on 2 separate occasions. First at 7-6, thanks to back-and-back goals from Bonet-Saez and Paige Mitchell, then again at 9-8 after scores from Bonet-Saez and Kolavu. However, Indiana struck with just over a minute left to maintain a 2-goal edge entering the final frame. Indiana took control early in the 4th, scoring 3 straight goals to build a 13-8 lead with 4 minutes remaining, putting the game out of reach. Kolavu and Lomax combined for 3 goals down the stretch, but it wasn't enough to complete the comeback. The Explorers fell 15-11 their first game.
Later that day, they took on Pacific. Pacific exploded out of the gate, scoring 6 goals in the first quarter to the Explorers' 3. Francesca Coe and Tatum Lomax each found the back of the net in the second frame, with Lomax beating the buzzer with 9 seconds left on the clock. The team headed into the locker room with LaSalle trailing 8-5. The Tigers cashed in with 2 goals in the first 80 seconds of the second half, adding a third before Coe drilled 3 goals in under 3 minutes to set a career goal record, pulling the score to 11-8, heading into the fourth quarter. Back-to-back goals from Colavo and Coe brought the LaSalle within 1 from the first time since the first quarter. However, the Tigers drained the next 4 goals to put the game out of reach. Coe and Colavo scored again in the final minutes. Unfortunately, LaSalle couldn't come back and ended the game with a loss of 15-12.
Lastly, they took on Marist University for the final game of the weekend. The game started in favor of Marist, scoring the first 3 goals of the game. Claire Durham eventually got LaSalle on the board within the first 5 minutes. The Foxes notched their 4th to begin the second quarter. However, the Explorers dominated the remainder of the second, scoring 4 straight goals to take a 5-4 lead into halftime. Bonet-Saez and Colavu each scored 2 goals for the Explorers. Over the next 2 quarters, Marist went on a 6-0 run, with LaSalle not finding the back of the net again until Carlota Zanelli scored her first goal of the weekend with 1 minute 35 seconds remaining. The Explorers fell 10-6, falling to all 3 teams over the weekend.
Both men's and women's swimming and diving had a perfect weekend, beating Monmouth University to wrap up their regular season of the men's side. Men's side consisting of Derek Kuzik, Andrea Sovaco, Felix Fedbrak and Carter Perkins followed suit, placing first with a time of 1 minute and 32 seconds in the 200-yard medley relay. Sovaco easily won his second event of the day, the 100-yard breast, with a time of 57.43 seconds. The blue and gold turned up midway through, winning 7 straight events. Jet Bratt won the 50-yard free event. On the diving end, Lucas Dekany won the 1-meter event, then won the 3-meter event. Perkins won the 100-yard free event, and Sovaco won his 3rd event of the day with a time of 2 minutes and 11 seconds in the 200-yard breast. Jet Bratt won the 100-yard fly races. In the 200-yard IM, Sovaco racked up another win. To conclude the day, the men's team won 172 to 121.
On the women's side, the relay team of Gabricia Herbender, Carlota Ungo, Camilla Frost, and Tori Fenn won the 200-yard medley relay event with a time of 1 minute and 46.1 seconds. Beren Seelig led the way from a podium sweep in the 200-yard free. Raven Domingo won the 1,000-yard free, finishing in 10 minutes and 54.64 seconds. Herbender won her second event in the 100-yard back, placing first with a time of 58.18 seconds. Midway through, the Explorers ended up winning 7 straight events. Fenn won the 50-yard free event. On the diving end, Tiffany Braun won the 1-meter events and also won the 3-meter event. Emma Van Slam won the 100-yard free events. Zena Martinez won the 200-yard back with a time of 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Domingo added a second win in the 500-yard free, finishing in 5 minutes and 21.26 seconds. Herbender won the 100-yard fly races, and Felicia Rogel got the win in the 200-yard IM. The women's team defeated Monmouth 207-79, a huge win to conclude their season.
Women's basketball played UMass this past weekend. Ashleigh Connor opened the game with a made shot on the Explorers' first possession, followed by Ivy Fox grabbing a strong offensive rebound and extending the lead to 4-0 with a layup. Fox, who had started only 1 game this season, continued to make an impact, combining with Connor to score their first 11 points for LaSalle. Massachusetts called a timeout, trailing 11-5. Connor then hit a long-range shot in the fence at the face of defense to extend LaSalle's lead to 22-17. She followed up with an assist to Anna Przaslak in the corner, giving the Explorers their largest lead of the game at 25-19. After a scoreless final 2 minutes of the first half, LaSalle held a 28-23 lead, remaining undefeated this season when heading at halftime with a 5-0 record. The second half saw Massachusetts open with a 5-0 run, tied the game at 28, and later took the lead to 38-34 after a 10-point run. Fox answered with a 3-pointer to cut the lead to 38-37, knocking down her 3rd straight 3-pointer. The Minute women then ran off 11 unanswered points at the start of the 4th quarter. Junior Alyssa Blacklock interrupted the run with a steal and assist to Przaslak. Ivy Fox continued her strong play, knocking down her second 3-pointer of the game, bringing her to a career-high 12 points. Despite the strong effort, LaSalle trailed by 9, 51-42, with 6 minutes remaining in the final few minutes. Freshman Sanya Jenkins scored 5 points, including a 3-pointer and a 2 free throws, but the Explorers would fall to Massachusetts by a final score of 60-50.
Last night, women's basketball took on Richmond. Joan Quinn put the Explorers on the board early with 2 free throws. Richmond responded, gaining the lead before Ashleigh Connor and Quinn scored back-to-back threes, trimming the deficit 9-8. Grad student Jolene Armendriez kept the Explorers within reach, scoring twice in the last 2 minutes of the first. The quarter ended with the Spiders up 21-18. At the start of the second, there was a brief scoring drought. Junior Aris Magassa ended the drought with a rebound. Tyranisha Bowers also got the Explorers on the board. Other than that, LaSalle couldn't find an offensive rhythm. This led to Richmond taking a double-digit lead to end the half. In the third, Armendariz converted her third and fourth three-pointers as the Explorers began to tighten the score. In the fourth, Quinn scored 5 straight points to make it a 59-46 game. Armendariz set a new career high, drilling her fifth three-pointer of the game. As the game winded down, the Spiders continued to increase their lead. The Explorers were not able to come back. The game ended in a 72-53 loss for LaSalle.
Men's basketball hosted the George Washington Revolutionaries home this past weekend. LaSalle opened strong with a back-to-back layups from Jaheel White, but George Washington jumped out to an early 10-4 lead. A deep free throw from Corey McKeithen cut the deficit to 1, and McKeithen went on to score the next 4 points, keeping the Explorers close. Junior Demetrius Lille, back after a 2-game absence, put LaSalle ahead 15-14 with his first points from the free throw line. George Washington quickly responded with an 8-0 run to regain their lead, but freshman Juice Jones scored back-to-back layups to cut it to 22-19. Mac Eaton then made his presence felt with offensive rebounds and a layup to pull LaSalle within 1 at 35-34. White tied the game at 35 with a free throw as the team went into halftime. In the second half, George Washington opened with a 6-0 run, but Eaton responded with a layup and a block to keep LaSalle close. McKeithen then hit his second three to cut the lead to 57-54. Jones went on a personal 6-0 run to the game at 60 with under 5 minutes to play. McKeithen gave LaSalle their first lead since the first half with a layup, making it 62-60. In the final minutes, senior Deshaun Shepard traded baskets with George Washington, holding a slam 66-65 lead. Jaleel White then picked off a pass and passed it to McKeithen, who hit a three to extend their lead to 69-65. Jones put the game on ice with 4 straight free throws, making it 73-65. George Washington scored once more, but LaSalle held on to the win, 73-67, earning their fourth conference win of the season.
Then it was time to take on VCU on the road. In the first half, Deshaun Shepard capitalized on a pair of steals on the first 2 possessions of the game, giving LaSalle a 3-0 lead. VCU then scored the next 8 points, giving them the lead. Jaleel White made some key plays early to keep the Explorers in the game. Stealing the ball and scoring 4 straight points, both teams traded baskets, tying things up. The Rams then fought back, going on a 13-0 run, gaining a 29-16 lead with less than 8 minutes remaining. The teams traded baskets again until VCU went on another run, ending the half with the Explorers trailing 48-28. In the second half, Deuce Jones and Shep combined for LaSalle's first 10 points of the half. The Rams then scored 19 straight points. Demetrius Lilly and Eric Acker ended the Rams' run with a back-to-back dunks. LaSalle continued to fight with contributions from McEntine, but he blocked 6 shots in the game. Unfortunately, the Explorers were not able to come back, and the game ended in a 96-66 loss.
The LaSalle women's track team returned to the Armory on Friday morning to compete in the Scarlet Knight Open, with 4 women participating in the 500-meter event. Amelia Green and Stella Hammond both had strong performances, finishing 5th and 6th respectively, with personal best times of 17 minutes and 55 seconds and 17 minutes and 56 seconds. Ella Varello crossed the line in 18 minutes and 14 seconds, taking 11th place in the same heat. Emma Taylor also competed, finishing 17th with a time of 18 minutes and 43 seconds. Go Birds. Go Birds.
Okay, wait, can we talk about swimming real quick?
Yeah.
With their crazy wins. They didn't have the best weekend last weekend, but this weekend definitely made up for it, ending the season. The women's team alone, 207 to 79.
I can't even comprehend that.
It's crazy.
Were they swimming against anyone?
Monmouth.
But was anyone in the pool?
Who knows?
How did they win by that much?
Who knows? And then even the men's, they also had a pretty bad weekend last weekend, but they came back with the 172, the 121, and that's how they ended their season, and that's a great way to end their season.
I think maybe a part of it was their senior night, so they had a lot of celebrating. They had a lot of people attending, and when you have a lot of people attending, I don't know, you might perform a little bit better. Home crowd, bit of an advantage there.
Definitely. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I got to sit down and talk to Ashleigh Connor about her basketball season. Stay tuned.
When a child in your life requires intensive care, their health fragile, their condition complex, certified acute care pediatric and neonatal nurse practitioners will give you the information and support you need to make the best decisions for your child, while providing the critical care your child needs. Trained to diagnose and manage life-threatening conditions and emergencies, they are trained to make a difference. Learn why at certifiednurses.org.
Welcome back to On the Sideline. I'm Riley Kavchuk, and joining me today is star guard Ashleigh Connor from the LaSalle women's basketball team. Ashleigh, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for being here.
Of course.
So before you came to LaSalle, you played at St. Louis. What made you choose St. Louis to start your college career?
So coming out of high school, I was kind of overwhelmed with the process. I know even now the transfer portal is a huge thing, and for a high school girl, it's kind of crazy. And so I had talked to some of the girls that were going to St. Louis and some other schools that I was talking to, and I just really got a connection with them. And out of high school, I wanted to travel. I wanted to get out of Pittsburgh and move around. So when I went to St. Louis and I saw the facilities and I saw the area, I thought it was beautiful. So I was like, you know what? I love the girls. I loved the coaches. And so I was like, this is the next step of my career. And so that's where I decided to go.
And then at your time at St. Louis, you ended up winning the Atlantic 10 championship. So can you explain how that was?
Yeah, so it was crazy. No one ever expected us to, and even in the beginning of the season, we were kind of not really expecting ourselves to, but we kind of just started clicking at the right time. Like, our connections were there with each other, the culture was there and everything, and so when the A10 tournament hit, we were all just playing really well together, and it was honestly a crazy experience. There was nothing ever like it that I've had in my life. And
Was there like a specific thing you guys like came up as a team to like really be like, hey, this is what we need to do to like get to where you ended up?
We had a couple mantras that we did, like how to like get ready for the game and be ready for as soon as it would start, and just kind of like, we kind of just bought into each other. Like, we trusted each other, we knew where each other was going to be, and we kind of just all had that competitive nature. Like, we all wanted to get as far as we could, and we knew we could. We just didn't realize how quickly we would, because that was my coach's first year there and everything, and there was a lot of new girls, and she brought transfers and everything, so it's kind of hard to get that meshing to work. And it was just, once it happened and we ended up winning and we saw that, it was awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And then how has the transition been so far coming to LaSalle, both on and off the court?
It's been smooth. I definitely, when I first entered the transfer portal, I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect, but coming out of high school, they recruited me, so I knew the staff really well. And so once they talked to me again and they were willing to give me another opportunity, I knew that I wanted to come here. And so I grew up about an hour north of here, and I knew that I wanted to come play in front of my family and my grandparents and my cousins and everything. And so once I've gotten here, I've felt at home. I love my coaches. I love my teammates. It's been new. There's a lot of new people, but we all hang out together. We're all getting along really well. So the transition's been really smooth.
And do you think your family being closer and being able to go to your games really improved the way you play, or like just your attitude going into that game?
I would definitely say, yeah. I mean, playing in front of my parents, especially my dad, who's taught me almost everything that I know and helped me become the player I am, like getting to see him at every single game, and then my mom and my grandparents coming, like just seeing them watching me, cheering no matter what's going on, wins, losses, good games, bad games. It's just a different feeling, getting to go to dinner with them after, and just knowing that like it's bigger than basketball and that I always have that support in my corner.
Yeah, definitely. So what stood out to you about LaSalle's basketball program when you made your decision to come here?
Yeah, so I would say I knew that they struggled last year, but I'm the kind of person where I wanted to come make an impact somewhere. My first 2 years at St. Louis weren't exactly how I wanted them to be, but I definitely gained a lot of experience going from starting every single year in high school to then playing the bench a little bit more. I saw the game of basketball from a different lens, and so after I saw it like that, I decided that I really wanted to get back on the court and make an impact. And so when I talked to Mountain and Day and Boo and all them, I was like, they gave me that trust that I could come here and do what I knew how to do and play and put people in the right positions. And as soon as I got here, we kind of picked up right where we were. And so knowing that you had that smooth transition and the trust with your coaches that it's going to be how they tell you it's going to be was a huge thing.
Yeah, and that's definitely if you want a good team, you definitely need that connection with the coach and your teammates. How would you describe your playing style, and how do you see yourself fitting into this team?
Yeah, so I'm definitely a very competitive person. No matter what the drill is, what anything is I want to win it. And so when I came here and I knew that I was going to be playing more of a point guard role and trying to lead a team that was very young and had a ton of new people coming in, it was kind of stressful at first. But when you have teammates that are just as competitive, just as excited and energetic. It's easy to just go out there and say, hey, if you run this play, like, you're going to get that shot. They have the trust in me that I have kind of started to instill into them. And so, I mean, my biggest thing that I try and take away from every game is it's not about the amount of points or anything. Like, I try and make like the little plays that are going to help us win the game. Like, if we need a stop, like, I'm trying to tell them, hey, we need this stop right here, right now to move forward, to stop that run, to get the next play. Or if I turn it over, get that ball back. Like, just kind of making those extra hustle plays and those other little plays, and then just letting our defense turn into offense.
Yeah. And then between last season and this season, has there been any specific skills that you've been working on?
Definitely. I mean, I'd never really been a true point guard. In high school, I obviously played the point guard a little bit, but not in a college D1 level. So working on my ball handling was a big thing, there's really good defenders in the A10, so kind of making sure I understood that aspect of it, and then kind of just becoming more confident with myself. I had never really had that instilled in me, but now when you have such a new team and I have to play such a big role, like, having that confidence to go shoot the shot and knowing that my teammates trust me to go and shoot those shots and take those shots has been an adjustment, but it's one that I kind of liked, and it's been easy.
Yeah, and then you kind of touched on this already, but what has your experience been like with your new teammates and coaching staff?
It's been good, very smooth. I mean, it's nerve-wracking, as I said. You don't know anybody, and I had all my friends at St. Louis, and now I'm coming here, and it's like I'm a junior, and everyone's already been here a couple years. But I think in the summer we all hung out a ton, got to do little things, little trips, stuff like that. And so when you get to like get that summer under your belt before the season truly starts, I think that helped us a lot. And our coaches are always there to support us. They never really are like, oh, don't do this. Like, they want us to succeed. They want us to be our best on and off the court. And so having that trust with them also is really big.
Yeah, and would you say you had any teammate basically taken you under their wing and helped you throughout these last couple months?
I would say, I mean, me and Eris are roommates, so her, in the beginning of the year, we did a lot together, talked a lot together as captains, kind of just trying to figure out how we wanted to manage like a ton of freshmen and a lot of like little mistakes that obviously we're going to make. You freshmen and 13 new people, you're going to make mistakes. So I would say me and her have kind of battled together with different conversations about how we want to keep moving forward and how to keep everybody confident, especially when you go through some tough times. So I would say, since I'm one of the oldest, it's kind of hard. No one really took me under their wing. I kind of have to take those freshmen under my wing and keep them with their high spirits. Now, no one wants to lose a lot of games in a row, but when you know and you can see yourself building and see the growth that's happening, you kind of have to keep telling them, like, hey, we're making steps forward, we're moving forward. You just got to keep staying and trusting the process.
And then with you being on this team, along with some rookies and transfers, you've already made a big impact for this LaSalle team. What do you think the team is capable of achieving for the remainder of the season?
Yeah, I mean, we have had some big games, especially Richmond last night. I mean, no one would have expected us to keep it, and we were down 10 in the third quarter. Like, no one would have expected that with a team that won the A10 last year. So when we buy in and we cut back on the turnovers that we have, it's going to be a completely different ball game. But we just got to understand that right now, like, we may not look good, but we're getting there. Like, from where we were in the beginning of the season, it's
Definitely.
a lot better, and there's been a lot of growth. It's just staying in that positive mindset, staying in that confident mindset with each other, and staying connected is a big thing. I know you can kind of divert from each other when things are going wrong, but we've stayed really connected and really strong together, which has been super good.
And what has been your favorite part of being at LaSalle outside of basketball?
I would say family around. I am a big family person, and I go home a lot. I go down to the beach a lot. So being around all my family and cousins and grandparents and seeing them has been honestly probably my favorite part about being here.
And what are some of your academic or career goals beyond basketball?
So I'm a biochem major with a business minor. Ooh. I'm not entirely sure where I want to go with that. I'm thinking of taking the MCAT and going from there, but yeah, I'm not too sure with that yet because obviously basketball is on my mind right now. That's what I want to do right now. But yeah, I'm taking the MCAT, go from there, maybe go to PA school, something. I like business. A lot of people want me to be medical sales, talking, but we'll see.
And then what personal goals are you setting for yourself going on to future seasons?
Yeah, so I would say a big thing that I want to do is continue to grow my offensive game. I mean, by being a dynamic guard, it's kind of hard to guard and you can be unpredictable. So I want to keep continuing to grow in that area of my game. But also, I would say my biggest thing is putting people in the right position at the right time. I like facilitating. I like making sure that people are getting the shots that they want because that's when offenses are clicking. And especially being a point guard this year, I've seen that extremely well. So yeah, I want to connect more on that level and continue to advance myself, because I think that in the end, especially with where we're at right now, if I continue to grow myself, it'll only continue to grow my teammates.
Definitely. Well,
Yeah.
Ashleigh, thank you for talking with me today.
course.
I wish you the best of luck for the remaining of the season. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about all our upcoming games. Stay tuned.
When the game is on the line, championship teams know the game plan. They communicate and work together to win. We all need a game plan to protect ourselves online. Talk to family and friends so they know how to stay safe too. Create strong passwords, turn on multi-factor authentication, update software, and recognize and report phishing, because online safety is not something you want to fumble. Get more game-winning tips at cisa.gov/secure-our-world. Then share them with family and friends.
Welcome back. We have a busy week of Explorer sports, so here's what you have to look forward to. Men's and women's track will go back to New York to compete at the Fast Track National Invite in Staten Island. Friday at noon, women's lacrosse will start off their season Saturday at Delaware State at 12 p.m. Water polo will take on 3 teams this weekend: Bucknell, Mercyhurst, and Mount St. Mary's at the Bucknell Invitational in Lewisburg, PA.
Go Birds! Women's basketball will travel to St. Louis, Missouri to take on St. Louis 8 p.m. Saturday. On Wednesday, they will then take on Fordman at 6:30 at home. Men's basketball will play UMass Sunday at 2 p.m. at John Glazer Arena, and then travel to St. Joseph University to take on the Hawks at 7 p.m. Go Birds!
That just about wraps it up for us this week. If you can't make it out to see the Explorers play, be sure to tune in next week for our coverage. Keep up with this weekend's other sporting events like the Eagles game and others by visiting goexplorers.com.
Go Birds! Also check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalleTV and on Instagram at SportsLine LTV. We welcome you to send us your thoughts and suggestions there. Before you go, we want to see you repping LaSalle. Send us selfies from any upcoming LaSalle games via our Instagram, and you might get a shout out in the next episode of SportsLine. Go Birds!
For our entire SportsLine team, go Birds, and I'm Riley Kapchuk.
Go Birds! And I'm Gwen Good. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you at the game.
Go Birds!